welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is someone who just fixed a huge bowl of goat's milk ice cream. It's Sanande Boetas.
Oh, Mark. It's Sanande Boetas. Came here to cry.
You just watched the movie, and... So
I just watched the movie. Oh.
For a second time, not the first time, or third time, maybe.
Yeah. No, it was the second time. Because I like watching it before talking to you, just so it's fresh in my head. But yeah, kind of, I shouldn't have done it this time. Watch this movie. It really, it's a wrecker. It wrecks me. It's a brilliant movie, but not the easiest watch in the world.
Yeah, I watched this with my wife Megan, and she went to bed no problem. I watched this for the third time with her, and I stayed up in bed just looking at the ceiling, just thinking what life was all about, and grief and sadness and communication, and I just rabbit holed into just the worst possible place. But that's the brilliance of this movie. I jotted down every time I got goosebumps, and I had goosebumps 11 times in this movie. But you know what though? I've watched films before where I felt like I needed to take a shower afterwards. So you watch movies like I Saw the Devil or Thirst or some of Larry Clark's films where you just feel heavy. You feel a weight. You're exhausted. You feel like you need Gatorade. Like, I need electrolytes after watching this movie because I am so exhausted. But this movie never weighs on me like some of the other films do. And I think that's wonderful. So it's so heavy to watch. And the themes are so tough, but I never felt like there was a weight on my shoulders watching this. And that's just a credit to what Brian Bertino and his crew and his actors, because everything is just beautiful to look at. This is his Texas farm they shot on. Like, this is a property that his family owns. And just the widescreen, the wide shots, so many setups. And
incredible.
For me, like, this movie hits really hard in regards to grief and loneliness and hopelessness. Spoilers. But there's so much technical wizardry going on. It kind of keeps me from being fully just punched in the face. And I really like that. And the actress, Maron Ireland, was talking about when she met with Brian about this film. He's like, yeah, most scenes that you're in, most shots, setups, we're going to do like 3 setups. I need 17. So he was always open to her about how much footage they needed, how much coverage. And I love how the scenes are covered in this. I like the way it's framed. It just knows what to do, but it also knows just how to punch you in the gut.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the best movies I've ever seen, but it's also a movie that, like, I don't know if I can watch it again. And this is just, like, I will though, because yes, you are absolutely right. The cinematography is something to behold in this film. I mean, yeah, Brian Bertino, like, his movies are always beautiful. I mean, we love his stuff.
Yeah.
But, this film. Can we just talk about the whole intro? Like, the moment it starts with the mother in, like, what is
Virginia.
that little, like, that room of hers where she, like, does the clothes, and you've got all these, what do you call that, doll stuff?
Yeah, mannequins, I guess, right?
Mannequins, yeah. Listen, you're going to have to help me. I'm a bit mush over here, so I forget how to words then. But yeah, with the mannequins, just those shots, stunning. The sound design, holy moly, incredible. It's merciless. It's merciless.
Mm-hmm. And there's finally mannequins for a reason. She's a designer. She's a clothes designer. So you have these mannequins, not like in Halloween 2018 where she has 40 mannequins in her upstairs bedroom that Michael hides in. I like that these mannequins have a place, and they never use them for scares either, which I mean, they're eerie, but they never play them for a peekaboo where someone's hiding as a mannequin, as like a rock statue. You know what I mean? Like standing next to one. That takes restraint right there.
I love it because it sets the tone from the get-go. Like, mannequins, eerie, especially the way he shoots it. Yeah, it doesn't, like, come back to mannequin scare, because that would have been cheesy. I mean, and there are actually a couple of jump scares in this movie, which I thought was pretty well done. The first one got to me the first time I watched it. I literally screamed when she opened that shower curtain. That was, and I don't scream, and it takes a lot to get me to fall for a jump scare. I thought that was really good. I loved the whole sequence with the brother Michael in the room where the lights start to go on. How good is that though, the tension that he builds, and that's also another thing with filming this movie. Like, he really took his time with the shots, but not overly so. Like, a lot of times in horror movies, you feel like they linger just that second or two too long, where you're starting to get bored with it. Oh, his pacing in this with all the little build-ups, and there was no shot that I felt was unnecessary or out of place. The rhythm just kept it. Like, the editing was also fantastic. This is really such a good movie, Mark.
It's not precious. You know, some teams hold on to shots too long, or there's a shot that does not need to be in it, but they thought it'd be cool to shoot through this hole in the wall. So they're like, we're just going to do that. Like, there's nothing. Yeah. There's nothing like that in this movie. I didn't get taken out at all from this film. And the one thing, did you catch the demon hiding in the goats in the beginning, the flash of it?
I did. I
was like, why is it in the goats? It's just a jerk. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to...
Running with the animals, I guess. The wolf between the sheep. Like.
Oh, gosh, you're right. That is it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Now, the thing that breaks my heart most about this movie, and I didn't get this the first time around, but the second time it's really hit me, where Virginia Straker, the mom, played by Julie Oliver Touchstone, she's been living with this thing for who knows how long, months. And she's been staying strong. She's all by herself at night. This absolute loneliness, isolated. But for months, she just goes about her way. She keeps working. She keeps cooking. She keeps sewing. I'm getting goosebumps. The chairs are being pointed towards her. She just keeps on keeping on, like in the words of Joe Dirt. So she just doesn't stop. But what gets me is her moment of weakness, that, you know, this thing thrives on weakness, on isolation, of losing hope, of seeing, you know, what happens to the nurse when the brother leaves and she's like, you left me, that the nurse starts feeling sad, and that opens up room for her, the hospice nurse, to hurt herself. But the mom stays strong until her kids come home, and they just don't listen to her. And there's no communication in this family. So a lot of people are like, they should just talk to each other. But if you've been in an estranged family where there's no communication, you're not going to talk to each other like that. And she can't, from what I heard, I guess she was an atheist. She can't just be like, hey, I'm a Christian now because a demon's sucking your father's soul out. You can't explain that to them, and they aren't listening. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. So what gets me is that when they come home and don't listen to her, and she knows that they're in danger now, that's when the demon gets her. That's when she cuts her fingers. That's when she goes out and hangs herself, is when her kids come home. So she's fighting this thing by herself pretty well. And then when that hits, that's the window for this demon. And that's what's really getting me now about this movie. Like, what really gets me. And sorry to get heavy on you here, but that's, I don't know, I've been thinking about that lately, and it's just sad. It really is just sad.
No, it's really sad. I mean, I teared up while you were talking now, because this movie, so I also think that, so, you know, like, you know, we all have unique experiences, and that also contributes to how we see movies. Like, you know, we all have our different lenses almost, like, you know. I do think people that people that live with depression is definitely going to see this movie differently than people who don't. Because depression is a big thing in this movie. Like, it's literally that thing, it's about, because during the whole movie, you've got this thing of feeling nothing. Like, the brother especially goes on about, like, the feeling nothing, and it's actually kind of freaking him out in a way. But it's this, like, juxtaposition of feeling nothing, but then, because when you feel something, it's so painful and horrific that it's really hard to live with, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I love it that it opened with the mother. We saw her doing her thing. We saw her in total isolation. She's alone. Like, they show us, like, the dad that's, like, clearly sick and stuff, but, you know, and she's doing her thing, and she's in the kitchen, and she's chopping up food. And then there's just, like, this moment, and she also, like, turns to the chair, where obviously, like, the idea is that the thing has come and it has entered. And it's almost like she starts feeling nothing. And it's that very dangerous thing of depression, is when you start giving up, when nothing really matters anymore. So, yeah, I think then, like, it's so sad, because when the kids come, and they also, like, especially the brother, he's like, it's going to be okay, Mom. And he's like, what's going to be okay? Like, how can you, like, at one point she also tells tells him, you don't know what this is. That's also very much like, people with the dark thoughts, people that's like they've already made up their minds, man. This movie is.
Because, with depression, just get over it. Rub some dirt on it. Cheer up. Why are you?
We're here now. It's okay. It's like, oh gosh. And it's very difficult to explain to people when you have such dark and wicked thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
More dark than wicked. But yeah, like I love how the movie did the whole dark and wicked thing. I thought it was brilliantly done. That's what I thought about Blackguard's daughter. I thought it was brilliantly done. Using the whole religious angles, playing it up like this war of the soul kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's you feeling stuff. Like it's you that, and it's like easy to say, well, believe in something and try to stick it through. It's easy to say. It's easier said than done especially for some people that struggle with very dark thoughts. Because this is what the movie is, Mark. Like I say, it's going to differ for everyone. And I love that too. It's so relatable, it's, because it is a lot about grief and loss. You've got that family connection happening that I think a lot of people can also like, just like the whole parent-child thing as well, and losing your parents and the fear of that. I mean, we've got like Michael that he doesn't feel, and then he goes back home. He thinks he can escape this like terrible trauma of seeing his mom do that to herself. And then he gets home and he sees his worst fear, and that's what gets him in the end. It's dude, I cry so much in this movie. It's, but it's also so good. It's also so good. And I love how at the end we do have like Louise sticking it out and staying there and like, fighting through it. But then at the same time, it gets her in the end, because it will get you in the end. Like if you have to see someone die, if you have to not only lose a parent, but actually see someone die, that does something to you. That never goes away again. And so that was pretty cool that they added that, and that they also showed that whole thing with the nurse, because that's what happened with the nurse. She was telling them how many people she's been like, been there when they died. They were alone. She's the nurse, so she's the one there. And like how it just got too much for her in the story, which is so real also. I mean, you can so like also have empathy for that, because a person can only take so much until they're going to try and freaking or metaphorically want to stick a needle in their eye. Listen, there's going to be spoilers in this movie. Watch it.
And it's I like Ireland was talking to Brian about her character, and some people are thinking, why didn't she leave? And I kind of hate that question. She's not in a 3-story house on the first story, and there's a killer on the 3rd floor, and she goes up to the 3rd floor looking for it. That's not, that dumb trope in horror. She could just run out the front door. This one, they established that she probably had nothing to go back to. She probably didn't have her job. And so she's here with her family, probably, has an apartment somewhere. Her car's fine. She has that Toyota. So, I mean, that looked reasonably like a nice vehicle. So she probably gets jobs here and there, can't hold on them to that long. But she's there with her family. She comes back, her mom dies, her dad's still there. She wants to help. This maybe gives her a purpose because she doesn't have anywhere to go back to. And that makes it sad as well, because she probably had nothing out there in the world, came back, got back with her family, and then her brother leaves her. And then she's just staying with her dad. Then her dad dies, and then that leaves her wide open because she's so distraught. Woofda.
Yeah.
And I just think the movies that hit me the hardest, the horror movies that hit me the hardest, or any movies where Session 9, have you seen Session 9?
Yeah.
Well, that Simon prays after weakness. And I thought it was interesting how Simon picked the person he did, where you think of these other people are